Hi Ananya, how are you?
Hi, me. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on my channel today. We will have a very fun conversation about your experience with studying for the CFA Level 1 exam. So before we begin, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself? When did you start studying for the CFA? Where do you live? Where do you work?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, firstly. And yeah, I am Ananya. I actually did my BCom specializing in international finance from Christ University, which is in India. Um, I chose this course because it's the course that's affiliated with CFA already. So the course itself is mapped with CFA and CPA. So
Mm-hmm.
this just gave me a head start in a way because almost the entire class and the
Mm-hmm.
professors were aligned towards CFA.
Okay.
And so in my third year, I decided to give my CFA Level 1, which was November 2023.
Okay.
And yeah, that's when I gave it. And as of now, I'm in Bangalore itself in India, and I'm going to be joining Deloitte USI, which is basically Deloitte US offices in India as an audit assistant.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you so much.
So let's start with you by focusing a little bit about your methods and study strategies when it comes to the CFA Level 1 exam. So my first question is basically what study methods and resources did you use while you were preparing for the CFA Level 1 exam, and then how, and also like were you working as you were preparing for the exam?
Right. Okay. So I'll answer the second part first. I was not working.
Okay.
I did close, like, I did the summer internship and then I started preparing for CFA Level 1. So I was doing it with college mostly.
Yeah.
And the thing with our college is our course is planned in such a way that our classes were only from 6:30 in the morning to 12. So
Oh.
so post 12, you have time to either do an internship or pursue the certification that you need. So that gave me a lot of time. So I honestly got lucky in that sense that I had time, to use. But having said that, with the resources, I did not take coaching for CFA Level 1. I only used the Shweza textbooks. I felt they were pretty concise and correct for me to just use and get through the exam portion.
Mm-hmm.
And I used the LES questions as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I did take the UWorld question bank. I could not use too much of it, but subjects that I was having an issue with, I definitely go to that because they had a great understanding of why the question was wrong and etc. So that just helped me with the entire process as well.
Okay. And so you mainly use like Schweitzer, you said.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And my follow-up question on that is, so since you had so much time available after 12 or 12:30, like how did
Yeah.
you basically manage your time? Like how much were you putting like on a daily basis when it came to studying?
Yeah, so that is where it gets a little tricky. So even though I had the time, I was doing other certifications as well before CFA Level 1. So because of that, I somehow ended up giving only less than a month to CFA for the
Mm-hmm.
prep. Yeah. So because of that, I crammed in the last month. So I'd give almost 8 to 9 hours a day on average for the prep, which is not something I'd recommend. It's just the preparation wise, it's something that I got stuck with. But I wouldn't change anything about my process, but it's definitely something that someone shouldn't do for CFA because it's such a vast subject. The burnout chances are way more if you're doing, such a crammed version of it. But yeah, I was giving about 8 to 9 hours a day because I had the chance to do it. It's not possible for a lot of people, but that was what I was doing.
Okay. And the reason why you're cramming like everything in a month, it was because you had other commitments. So you're
Yes.
or okay.
Yeah, and I did not want to defer it because I felt like I could, manage to do it because of the time I had at hand. And I thought it'll be worth a try because considering my course was also aligned with it, I had a base, a strong foundation, so I
Yeah.
didn't decide to defer it.
Yeah, that definitely helps when you have a strong foundation. And
Yeah,
I also would say I would not recommend anyone to do 8 to 9
yeah.
hours per day every day for the last month to prepare for the exam. But if I were in your position, I would have probably have done the same thing, which is I would have still gone to the exam and write it because you're not losing anything.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's my other question. So how much practice did you do when you came to the CFA Level 1 exam, and where did you get your practice problems from? Was it Spicer? Did you use this information, I don't know, from the CFA Institute?
Right. So, practice-wise, I stuck mostly to the CFA LES portal,
Okay.
which, yeah. So I tried to do the entire, I think there were 2,500 questions, if I'm not wrong. I tried to do all of them before the exam, at least once. I did reset it once, but I was not able to complete it a second time. So I definitely did that once. And I used the Shweza questions that were always there at the end of the topics. So in the textbooks, there's always practice questions available. But I didn't necessarily choose the, other books that are separately available for questions, because I felt I didn't have time, firstly, to actually just go into different sources and try to do more questions. So I stuck to the CFA portal and did that as much as I could.
So here's my other questions. You did not have a lot of time, and how did you study? Like, did you just practice? Did you read stuff? Did you watch stuff? Did you take notes? How were you managing that?
Yeah, so I would basically, I'd read for example, I'm doing one subject, right? If it's economics, I'd do the first module of economics, and then I'd go to the LES portal and practice the questions for it. And once the entire subject was over, I kind of tried to go through the questions again and see if I remember the first module or something like that. I didn't watch any videos per se. I think I only watched videos in the end of my prep, which was during the review process.
Okay.
I found a crash course on YouTube by Fintree. It was like a set of 5 videos, which were 8 hours long with 2 subjects each. I think that was a great review strategy for me, because it just was a concise version of everything together. But apart from that, I was just practicing a lot more than I was learning, because it felt like I was learning more while doing the questions itself. So I'd say it was 60% practice and 40% actually learning the textbooks.
Gotcha. And my other follow-up question, which is about the topics that you found most challenging. Which one were they, and how did you overcome the difficulties?
The subjects I did not like, I didn't like were like quants, fixed income, and derivatives. These 3 were subjects that I just did not feel like studying them, because they didn't instantly go to my head. They needed time and they needed the effort to actually sit down and understand. So with quants and fixed income, I took a very rash decision in a way, because I decided I'm not going to spend too much effort on it. I'm just going to practice the questions and try to understand which topics they are focusing on. And from that, I try to understand, which information is relevant to actually focus my energy upon and which I can just ignore. So in a way, I did a selective study for those 2 subjects, which I only did because I didn't have time. I don't recommend selective study for CFA, because you never know what is going to come from where. But that's what I did for those. Derivatives, like I said, the crash course I did, it was very helpful for derivatives. It set a base for it. And then I did the questions and I thought, I'm good to go for it. So that was, yeah.
Was there any topic that you completely skipped or not?
Yes, there was. There was one module in quants. I feel like it was like the regression topic. I'm not too sure, but I did not do that. I was like, I'm either going to be very lucky with this or very unlucky with this. And I just left that because I felt I could use that energy somewhere else.
Gotcha. And how did you manage with ethics? Did you feel like it was challenging, not challenging?
Honestly, no, I enjoyed ethics. I feel like it's my favorite subject out of everything. And personally, I've been very good with it. So I didn't find it challenging. But yeah, I know a lot of people find it challenging. And for that, I'd say start with ethics and then practice a lot of questions. Or just keep it to the last so that it's very fresh in your head and just go with it and practice questions at the very end. But yeah, keep your ethics strong, because I feel like I've seen it happen that it's a make or break in your entire result. And I think that happened with me as well in some ways.
Yeah. What I'm getting out of this conversation is basically just practice as much as you can, basically.
Yeah. Practice as much. And one thing I definitely say is like less is more in terms of your prep material. So a lot of times, for example, if I'm studying for CFA Level 2, you'd see my entire YouTube algorithm change to CFA Level 2. And there's so many people just telling you do this, do that, do this and everything. But if you've chosen a certain prep material for yourself, stick to only that. There's going to be a lot of like noise about what to do, what not to do, but stick to what you have. Don't try to cram everything and your entire like material. Don't increase it saying I'll practice more and everything. Just stick to what you know, stick to what you have, and stick to mastering that. And I think you'll be good to go in a way.
Mm-hmm. So I have another question for you, which is, what advice would you give to some, what advice would you give for the final weeks leading up to the exam date? Because I know you have like left everything to the last month, but how did you, what advice would you give so that people are not, stressed, they're not burned out?
Yeah. So I think the first one is definitely what I said previously. It's don't try to look at more resources. Stick to the CFA portal in your last few weeks. Any question you want to practice, it should be from the CFA portal because this is made by the people who made the exam. So as much as you can, just stick to that. And in terms of burnout and everything, I feel like this is the time when you need to make a reward system for yourself in terms of having fun. Because if you're not like taking out time to just go have that lunch with a friend of yours or watch that movie, you'll go crazy just studying every single day. So I'd honestly plan a lunch with my friend the next day and I'd be like, I can only go for the lunch if I do this much. And then that lunch is like it's like a reward for me. So in that sense, just like make that reward system happen for you, because the only thing that can help you get through this final weeks is balance. And if you keep going crazy with like the prep and study part of it, you won't be able to actually write the exam properly. So just focus on keeping yourself calm throughout and try to spend time with people who actually understand how big of a commitment this is. But at the same time, let them just tell yourself it's just an exam and give it like it's just an exam. It's not your entire life.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Yeah. I don't like your system of like, it's not, if I do this much, then I'm going to reward myself. I think it's it's a nice treat. It's a nice way to put it out there. And I do have one last question, which is, how did you keep yourself motivated throughout this journey with studying for the CFA Level 1? Because I do feel like you're like an extreme kid. Well, I don't know if it's an extreme case, but you like waiting the last minute to study for it. Like I think it's tough. It's tough. Like how did you make sure that you were motivated? Waking up knowing that you had 8 to 9 hours ahead of you where you had to study. What did you do?
I feel like the main factor in this, and it's going to sound very cliche, but it's just I wanted to prove myself wrong, because I personally never feel like finance is my forte. It just feels like it's a subject that I need to tackle. And so when it came like, to a CFA, it's like a huge certification, there's like respect attached to it. I was like, if I can do this for myself, then I can definitely tell myself that it's not something I'm scared of, it's something I'm doing for myself. So I feel like the only motivation that you can truly have is yourself. Like you need to keep telling yourself that if you do this, you've tackled your mountains in a way. Like, you've done your thing, and the only thing you can do in that process is study and do your part. The result is not in your hands. So that's that. And I do like small things like make my lock screen a motivational message from my friend to me or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's something people could do. Just record a video of yourself telling why you want to do this and watch it every day, or write a message for yourself and keep it as a lock screen. Anything small. No one's seeing your phone, no one's seeing your brain. Just do the conversation with yourself. No one really understands this apart from you, why it's so important. So just focus on making it your journey, and you'll stay motivated throughout.
Yeah, I do like the idea of like making a video where you like basically tell yourself like your goal, and just to keep watching it every time you feel like
Yeah.
you're sidetracked. Yeah, I do really like that. Well, Ananya, that's all that I had for you today. Before I let you go, I do have 5 rapid fire questions for you. I did not tell you
Oh,
about this, so just,
yes.
yeah, are you ready?
I'm so ready. Yes.
So I don't want you to elaborate. I just want you to literally give me a quick answer.
Okay, done.
Okay. So I only have 5 for you. So here's the first question. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Favorite day of the week?
Friday.
Friday?
Yeah.
Favorite junk food?
Pasta.
Ah,
I
nice.
love pastas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pasta is good. I love pasta too. Favorite Halloween costume?
Um, I'm not sure about this.
If you
I'd
had
probably
to,
say I'd say a pumpkin, like dress up as a pumpkin.
okay. And
Yeah.
last question, best advice you have ever received?
Uh, I feel it's everything in your life is your doing. Like no one else controls it. So that's it.
Well, that's it. Those were my 5 rapid fire questions. Once again, I want to thank you for coming to my channel and answering all those questions. I think you gave a very good advice, good tips. It was good also to get to know you. Before I let you go, tell us how people can connect with you.
Yeah, sure. So people can connect with me on LinkedIn. I also have a YouTube channel. I think you'll put it in the description, I think.
I will.
So yeah, so you can just connect with me through that and on LinkedIn. Yeah, you can just shoot me a message with the connect request and I'll definitely see it. Don't worry. And yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This is really, really nice. First rapid fire I had. So great achievement.
Yeah. I love rapid fire questions. I think they're so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, Ananya, thank you so much. And I will put all the links to your social medias in the description below. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.